I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Frieren, Season 1, Episode 5. Last episodes we watched one right after another.
Mm-hmm.
It was a new experience for us in the channel. Usually we're able to discuss after each 22 to 26 minute episode of whatever we're watching. But last time we watched 2 hours worth of content and I enjoyed every second of it.
It did not feel like a burden at all to not be able to discuss those lovely episodes right after them because I was just so excited to go right into the next one. It really felt like I was watching a prologue movie, a beginning to this series movie.
And now we will be going to the northernmost place on this continent. It might be a long journey, but I feel like we're finally starting it now.
Just a mere 10 years that we're about to watch.
Just a mere 10 years. What's a mere 10 years?
I wonder if the show will actually be coming out for 10 years. Wouldn't that be great?
That'd be amazing.
We actually just get to see that whole mere 10-year journey in just a mere 10 years of our own life.
But it would be like, one right after another, not like we have to wait until that 10-year mark for it to come out.
Right.
All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Interesting that we're getting this all again at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah.
And we have that apprentice now.
Wasn't even. Oh.
Got emotional.
See you again. I don't know if it's a 10-year journey. Wow. She's acknowledging it.
Most of Fern's life is going to be spent with Frieren on an adventure.
Phantoms of the Dead. Getting to hear it.
Or else. That doesn't sound so bad.
No.
We're switched from the end of last episode.
28 years.
Mm-hmm.
The Will region. That just means they have to go. Ghosts.
The people that have seen the ghosts.
Oh, that could be fucked up.
Especially if it's not real.
If it's like an illusion that's just luring them in. Undead are corpses controlled by magic, like zombies or skeletons, not apparitions.
It's like a siren, it's luring them.
A banshee. It's a nasty one. It is Frieren saying it's a nasty one. Now I want to know what it is. I love Frieren's suitcase.
Think about all the oddities that are in there.
Oh, makes me so excited. Illusion magic.
To lure prey. It's like eating them or something. Eyeing some. Greedy. Consumes all.
Only humans.
It's obviously working.
See, I don't want it to work on Fern. It's gonna happen. We were foreshadowing it at the beginning of the episode.
With her being a good girl. If it looked like...
Wow. Do you think that Frieren still could with like email? Great question. We're not going to answer it. Oh, I've always wanted to be in a misty, wooded area.
Yep.
God damn it. How does it get the information? Like,
I decided to pay you. How does it remember? How does it know
you're either
these
accessing
things?
Fern's memories or the previous life.
It knows things it shouldn't know, and that's how it can lure you.
It's using my memories against me.
One of my most cherished memories.
I love that the staff can go away. Fuck.
Is that the new most precious person? No, that person's changed for you.
Wow. Oh my god! Going a little overboard, maybe. Whoa. It's a great reminder.
And it's telling us that even though this is a journey that Fern and Frieren were sent on for Frieren by Eisen, that it can be good for Fern too.
Look at all that loot. We were given the name of this canyon last episode. A solar dragon. Is it that easy?
She was like hiding behind the tree.
Let's run. Oh my god.
It almost looked like she was riding the staff like a broomstick. Yeah. But you didn't.
It's like a video game. Ah!
Yes!
A frontliner. Stark. Whoa!
His apprentice.
No, I don't want that tomato. It's too red.
Didn't she have one, like 2 episodes ago, where the clothing dissolved?
Yeah.
It was a potion.
Does have benefits. Okay. Ah.
We've rebuilt.
He has an axe. It's the guy from the intro, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just from looking at him?
Are we sure it's that simple?
He does not know Frieren. Instant recognition. Oh.
シュタルク、なんで竜を倒さないでいるの？村にとどまる理由なんてないでしょ。うちの要件を教えてくれないか？師匠のところに戻れって言うならマになってほしい。まずは公共竜の討伐を巣にある魔導書が欲しいからね。なぜ？特に理由はないよ。相手は公共竜だぞ。理由もなく戦う相手じゃねえだろ。おおすごいすごいよ。褒めてくれたバカがいた。になるかな。褒めてくれたのは別に構わないぜ。公共竜だけは絶対に倒してもらう。正直俺一人じゃ厳しくてな。フリーレン、お前なら倒せるんだ。30秒足止めしてもらえれば確実に。30秒か。それ俺何を言っているのですかこの。やっぱりそういうことか。魔物との戦闘
Oh
経験は。
no. That's why he just stood there and looked at the dragon.
They're all
That's
gonna
why
be
he's just
Frieren's
staying there.
apprentices.
He was so scared, that's why he didn't move. So cute.
なぜかその後、竜が村を襲わなく。村の人たち。
Look at him.
I bet he's incredibly strong, but you know, just
Doesn't have the experience.
Yeah.
フリーレン様。他を当たります。こいつは竜と戦える。できるはずだ。やればできる子みたいに。
Frieren's just gonna be like a mother and have a plethora of kids to take care of on this journey.
And then Fern has to be her mother.
一晩だけ時間をやる。よく考えろ。慕われていますね。あいつは優しいやつみたいだからね。優しい。臆病なようにしか見えませんでしたが。のは否定しないよ。フェルンだって。
He can be cowardly and kind.
と戦った時。まったく。小さかった頃は可愛かったのに。竜はこの村を襲わないのでしょうか。単なる気まぐれか。あるいは。
That is not a good sound. He doesn't have until tomorrow morning. Okay.
Is he practicing?
I wonder if that slice through the canyon was his doing.
That's what my assumption was.
Probably why she said he was capable of doing it.
And holding onto the rock. Wow. He's like me.
Oh, wow.
Who can fight for another. Whoa. Oh!
Wow.
I love the
That's
sound
so
there.
Cool. An axe is so cool.
God, I'm not used to only watching this short of an episode.
I want Fern to hold the axe. Gotta love a cute girl with an axe.
Okay, that was Frieren, Season 1, Episode 5. Number 1, I dislike only watching one episode.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as good as watching the 4 one after the other.
Number 2, I don't see enough people with axes portrayed in media. I feel like it's always a member of the party or like a weapon that's on the table. They're never. It's not even that they're never the most important. They're just. I feel like it's never, the light's never shined on them.
They're not narratively highlighted.
Yeah, and it's always going to like a sword, dual wielder, sword and shield, you know.
Or a mage.
Yeah.
Magician or sword is normally.
A healer, you know.
Healer.
But I adore it. I love it. And like you said, like, there's nothing better than a girl wielding an axe. Trust me, I agree. But I'm really loving Stark's design. I love it.
I do really. I like it because it gives me like Fire Emblem vibes.
Oh, for sure.
And Frieren's design even gives me like Robin which is a character in Fire Emblem from one of the games from Awakening, and that's my favorite of the Fire Emblem games. And yes, I do normally like when the cute girl with pigtails has the giant battle axe.
Yeah.
But I really do like his design, and I'm liking the personality that they're giving him.
So I prefer this over Fire Emblem's designs because so at first when I saw him in the intro and just saw his hair, really, I wasn't too confident if I was going to like his design on screen.
Yeah, you're like, it's too Fire Emblem Engage. I get you.
Yeah, but I really love him. I think that like they have such a great way of I don't know another term to try to convey what I'm thinking other than balance. They do such a great job in balancing weight and color for each individual character in the series. I think that the thing that really ties him together for me is like, obviously you have the colors with his eyes and his hair, but there's something so like tight about that. So throughout the rest of his clothing and his body, his clothes are so baggy with this like oversized axe. There's just like, there's so much cohesion like about his design. I adore it.
I think that when you do hair that has multiple colors, it's a little bit risky, but I feel like for his character design, it was absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
And the balance, the weight that it holds in order to go with the entire outfit, it was the right choice.
Do you think that it's like again about his design, it will look cool and would look cool if he ever takes the jacket off?
Definitely.
But the idea of his character, like on a character sheet, you need the jacket. It's like everything else is so tight on him that you need that extra like oversizedness to really pull it together.
I agree.
Do you think that it's hair dye and hair dye exists in this world, or do you think that's his hair?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
It's a magic. He can actually give Frieren a new spell that is doing fun things with your hair.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the spell she will learn for him, or she'll try to find for him, is how to, instead of having to go to the hair salon to get your hair dyed, she will learn a quirky little spell about, fixing your hair.
I think it would be a quirky little spell about healing scars.
Ooh.
And then maybe he'd decide to keep it or something as like
that could be cool. Like, that could be cool that he makes like a actual choice.
Yeah.
To keep this, because to him, honestly, now that we're really actually talking about the episode here, to him, that might be the mark that he's a coward. That might be the mark that he wants to fight for another.
Yeah.
And then that brings us into one of the best lines in the episode.
Yeah. Why do you think he isn't with Aizen?
Maybe he left because Aizen was starting to try to push him into actually fighting a monster and actually not being a coward, and maybe he didn't feel ready for that.
Yeah. It's so interesting to me because the one individual being the one who ran away from the fight and the village and the attack is then the person to, without even thinking about it, seemingly insert themselves in between the attack and the village to stand up for what's right. It's like what motivates that is not only regret of not doing it back then, but that being reaffirmed with the strength that you now have as opposed to before.
He has what he needs. There's just that coward element. He has the talent. Like, obviously with him, these fissures he's creating with his training, but also the fact that he would run in there to step in between a dragon and a grandmother and her grandchildren. Like, the fact that he has that in him to run in, he has what he needs to be the frontliner.
Yeah.
The warrior that is in front of the mages that are, fighting together. He has that. He has the talent he needs, but it's just, once he gets there, it's like he has stage fright.
Yeah. I really like what Frieren's able to offer to us and Fern, being that, like, that book of knowledge that we are learning the world through her. Like, they had a really good job, a good way of dissecting what this creature is in the village.
Is it the Einsum?
And it was like Fern's idea of what these ghosts would be or what these undead things would be was a little unclear. And through Frieren's, recollection of her own experiences, it's like, okay, if you're reanimating a corpse, that corpse is going to look remarkably different than it did once you knew them to be alive.
I don't think it'd be luring you away if you saw the undead corpse
but they
version
exist.
of your loved
like
one. They
the
exist.
idea that exists,
Is
but then making
crazy.
the differential, and then being like, no, this is coming more at you mentally. And what surprised me the most was the detail within it, right? It's one thing if you're able to just look like somebody and call out their name, but what really I think there's added thought into the fight there, in my opinion, because if you're writing for like adventurers who are going missing, like there would need to be a reason that these capable adventurers would go missing. In my opinion, it'd be like, oh, these ghosts who are just able to look like family members. That's terrifying. I can see how people are being tricked there, but I'm not going to fall for that. And then once you get there sitting in front of it, and then it's the Einsam that is able to use your memories and really get more specific with how like mentally targeted it is to you. I can see how
because it's like it really opens up that question of how could this creature, like, how could it not be my loved one if they're referring to things that only me and them knew of, conversations that are precious. I think that the accessing memories, the idea of this Einsam, this monster that accesses memories for these illusions of these ghosts, but also the idea of magicians, mages being able to use the undead and control them. As we know from the first 4 episodes, and from at least the 4th episode, that we have already learned in the show as the viewer that it is not possible to have the real version of that person conversing with you. Conversing with the dead, we know that can only happen now where souls reside. Souls cannot be brought back or used here. The undead corpse that is appearing in front of someone does not have the soul of the person that used to inhabit it.
Yeah.
And we know that now from previously learning about the research of souls.
Mm-hmm. And what the absence of knowledge of an afterlife is, but there is one piece that we have that is guaranteed, and that's Flom's writing about a specific place that we're headed to. It's like the way that they're building up 5 episodes in, it's an extremely sturdy base, like each thing that was brought up this episode was we have already been taught. There's nothing that's coming out of left field for us, right?
Like we're Fern.
Yeah.
In this case, Fern has already, as we have been with her when she's receiving this information, she's already been given a lot of foundation of being able to handle this situation and not let it actually affect her, or be able to overcome it maybe easier than she would have prior if she didn't already know about the book and the journey that they were on, and how there isn't really a magic for conversing with the dead or resurrecting people, bringing them back, like actually. And being with Frieren, she gets this knowledge here of this monster and what it's able to do. So she, as we're learning with her, we're at the same place where she is more capable here than she might have previously been if she didn't have such a wonderful master.
Yeah. One of the things that I'm really appreciating and find so like peculiar and interesting is how they're managing time, like through not only flashbacks from Frieren about her old party, we're inserting flashbacks of moments that we've already seen, and then what we've already seen, but adding on context. Like, we got the flashback about the 1000th, right? But we'd already seen that.
And then they're taking on an apprentice.
Yeah, but then the idea of it getting more specific about Stark, like, that happened off screen, and we're seeing that. And then, like I previously said, the flashbacks with Himmel and stuff. I wonder, like, obviously time and aging and what that means is a pretty big theme 5 episodes in within the life of Frieren. But I wonder, like, it's still, like, where is that going to go forward? We got the term illusion magic this episode. I wonder if there's ever going to be anything like time magic or trying to manipulate time, because it seems like it's the one thing that cannot be wavered or changed in this world.
I feel like when you're developing a magic system, there always has to be something that is unable to be achieved, or that at least hasn't been achieved yet.
Yeah.
Or maybe even is taboo to try to achieve. I think one of my favorite moments in this fight with this illusion magic was what Frieren ended up seeing. And I think it brings up one of the best lines in the beginning of the episode, too. We see Himmel, and he says to shoot him.
Yeah.
And she's like, yep, that's what he would say. And what?
It's so interesting because then Einsem, like, that creature cannot twist
For
memories
Heiter?
of people.
For Heiter?
No, for Himmel. Like the idea that Himmel's saying something that's true to character. Because, like, Einsem, if he was able to...
See, I thought you said Eisen. That's why I was like, wait, I got a little confused just because they sound similar.
The creature, the mimic,
Yes.
right? Or not the mimic, but this...
Not the mimic.
Yeah, but
We
this
haven't seen a
creature
mimic yet.
that is able to, like, you know, understand and see memories and being able to utilize them, they can't twist them. They can't, like, change them into something this person wouldn't say, seemingly.
Yeah. It has to be authentic to the memory. At least authentic to your idea of the person.
Yeah.
Because honestly, it can't be it's not the true soul. Therefore, no one actually knows what Himmel would have said or Heiter would have said. It's whatever the person that's viewing would believe they would say here. Or wants them to say, even desires them to say.
What do you think of the grimoire that Frieren wants to get?
I think it's funny because it's like it plays on, you know, some other more fantasy animes that we've seen recently where a character would have wanted that not because it was just a silly little spell that it's a hobby of theirs, but actually because they would have wanted to utilize it.
Yeah.
But it's funny because she also already was going to get a potion that was going to do something similar, and Fern was like, return it, we don't have the money for that. Now she's like, hey, I can get something like that for free if I defeat this dragon.
My favorite part of it is, like, the added exposition from Frieren being like, no, but it could be useful for seeing through if there are hidden weapons or anything. Like, I'm like, that's a dynamic that's used so often that I hear about in like in a comedic way of like a perv wanting to see through clothes, that I don't think I've ever thought about, like, a dynamic use of what that ability could be like in a world like this. Mm-hmm. It's so interesting.
I feel like when we get into more like superheroes, like superhero shows and stories, there's X-ray vision. It's used in a way that isn't pervish, but like actually, is there a gun in the pocket? Is like, are they hiding something up their pant leg? Where is this secret treasure or vial or letter hidden on this person or in this chest? Like, you know, there's that, but it isn't in the same light as we sometimes see with, I would say, even anime specifically.
One of the things that I've seen the last couple episodes, but I noticed it specifically in this episode, was the ability to, like, conjure your staff out of nothing.
Yeah.
Like,
I haven't even given that much thought. It
doesn't seem like it's, like, at all an invisibility thing. It seems like it's, like, a storage type thing. And I wonder if, like, what that quota is. You know, what that weight is that you could, like, just conjure, like, for, like, what that inventory size is.
Is it just a staff? Yeah, like, what else can you keep in this? Okay, so if Frieren is this person that's collecting all of these spells as a hobby of hers, she's been alive for so long, you'd think that the amount of grimoires that she would have in her possession would be crazy immense. Maybe she's already retained all that knowledge, and as soon as she reads it, she discards it. She doesn't keep it in an inventory. Or she has some type of, like, storage library that she can access. What's in her briefcase? What does she keep in there? Secrets?
Or it's like you're wearing, like, a piece of jewelry or something that would allow you to conjure the staff.
Like Cardcaptor,
you know?
Sakura.
Yeah, it's interesting. When we first were, you know, like, hearing about the see-through clothes spell, I'm like, okay, like, you're collecting spells that we've seen, like, could go hand in hand with a desire that somebody in your party would, like, would have, right? And it could be useful in that sense to make them happy. Is this, like, a Himmel thing? But then it's reiterated, it's not that simple. It's more of the idea of somebody complimenting Frieren about just the idea of this collection of all these bizarre and, like,
it's honestly, she's probably
spells.
she is most attracted to spells that really don't serve a purpose to the average mage.
They're
like,
more
the average
niche.
mage isn't going to go fighting a dragon for this spell, they're not going to see it as needed, especially as an adventurer. But it could be that it is something that maybe applied to the past, possibly. It could just be that it's something quirky that he would have complimented her on. But it could be that once upon a time they fought someone, and if they had known what they were hiding, the fight would have been easier. It could be that, and it very easily could have been that.
I don't feel confident enough that I know any of these characters because we're so early on. But in my mind, I could imagine, not because of the character doing this, but just narratively and it making me happy, of like Frieren seeing Himmel and being like, I've learned all these spells, like here are a few, and him just being like so happy.
Maybe like, that's what she'd want to talk to him about. Is like, here's a list of every spell that I've learned since you died. And him being like, oh, those are so cool. Thanks for telling me about them. And her being like, yeah.
I love her so much. Frieren's like the idea of her having another apprentice or just somebody in her party that is less experienced than her who she has to teach is funny.
And the fact that two members of her old party have basically set this up for her. They've both, as Eisen said, he learned from Heiter, like, to trick Frieren into journeys and into doing something that he thought would be serving her in the future, even if she wouldn't so willingly say yes to it now. But both of them are giving her almost a second chance. Like, something from your past has changed you, has made you realize that you want to get to know people better, and so we're gonna give you people to get to know better, like people to live with and do the journey once again. Get rid of your regrets while also doing something that you now know you want to do.
Yep.
It's so healthy, because she could have just like really totally dwelled in the regret and gone alone for this journey, but going alone for this journey would not have actually been serving her at all. She needs to do both of these things in tandem, spend time with real new people and get to know them at the same time that she's, in our world, what would be grieving over people that she's lost healthily.
I'm loving the show, man. Loving it.
I am also loving it. Just really great lines. That 1/100th changed you at the beginning, and then she realizes that Eisen was right once she sees Himmel, and she's like, it's not my master anymore that's showing up.
Yeah, and that he is someone who can fight for another.
Fight for another.
Great. Mm-hmm. Great lines.
Great lines.
All right, that's all I have you.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.